Well, welcome everybody out there in YouTube land, the other video formats. This is Mike, and we're here today. I'm working on something very unusual. It's a VIBO brand golf cart. There's virtually nothing on the internet for this, maybe a couple sales. I don't see any videos, so I thought I'm going to be able to give the opportunity today to share with you guys, and I'm sure there's a few of you out there that would like to know a little bit more about these VIBOs. And I'm not saying I know a lot about them, but I have one in possession. It's not mine, it's a friend of mine. Same guy who had the Cushman scooter that I worked on earlier in one of my previous videos, and you can tell that I've kind of upgraded. This video here, I have a microphone, pretty fancy, and I'm planning on doing some editing. Before I did those just in one shot. This would take too long to do that because when he bought this, my friend Gary bought this golf cart, and it ran, which is good, better than the Cushman. It ran, but it didn't run well. It would idle okay, but you try to give it any gas and it'd die and backfire, and it just wouldn't pull itself virtually. Or if it did, it'd just do for a second and then die, and then it'd start right up. So, and this VIBO golf cart, back when everybody was making stuff and trying their own ways, I think was. I don't have any information on it personally. I've looked for VIN numbers, not super hard, can't find a VIN on it, but it does have a Wisconsin engine in it. And Wisconsin engines are pretty good about tracking their serial numbers, and unless the engine's been changed, which the chance of that is virtually impossible. It's basically it's 1967, the engine is a 1967, so I assume that the cart was either built in 67 or 68, maybe potentially 69 at the latest, but I'm going to guess probably 67, the same year it was made, because the serial number kind of falls right in the middle of that year. Wisconsin has, at least on the internet, I found a list of the VIN numbers, and it falls basically in the middle of the year. I'm sure they bought the engine. No idea how many of these they made, but they're a pretty good little, it's a good little cart. I mean, it's very crudely made, but it works. They spent money on it. They spent fair money. They've got a good engine. The Wisconsin engine is a very good one. And they also, I have to look down and see what my notes are. It has a final drive is it's a HAXCO, HAXCO, and it's a very heavy duty final drive. And I'm sure it was made for more than just golf carts, but it's geared for a golf cart. Top speed on this is probably, I don't know, maybe 15 mile an hour tops, which is good because the brake system on this is a little weak, but it runs out good. It's got a final drive, or it's got a drive system, basically a CVT, very similar to a snowmobile would have, or modern Polaris four-wheelers, those kind of vehicles. Others have them too. Just a belt and one expanding disc and one decreasing size in disc to change your speed. So it works really good. So anyhow, with that, like I said, it's a VIBO, V-I-B-O, built in Des Moines, and I'm gonna step off now, and I'm just gonna walk the camera around and give you kind of a view of it as we're getting started, and then I'll raise it up in the air, and then we can get into some of the more mechanical side of it. Like I said, it's a VIBO. There's the nameplate on it. It's a nice little, a pretty little plate. Somebody spent some money on that. It's a single wheel. Single wheel steering with a tiller right here, and I've got it up in the air so it turns real easy. It's got a suspension on it. You can see the suspension right there, and it's got nice big flotation tires, and the bearings are in good shape. And supposedly, somebody told me, I think Gary looked it up, that this has a feature where you could actually hook this up to your car hitch and then pull this to the golf cart. I'm sure that was very popular. I think he said the top speed, supposedly according to the brochure, was 45. That might be pushing it a little bit. So walking around the side of it, you can see pretty easy. We'll get in the dash side of it. There's the dash. It's just got a start, an off start and or off. That's interesting. It says off start run, but it's actually start is that one. That's interesting. It should say off run start. I just noticed that. But anyway, it's got light switch. The lights, of course, don't work on this one, but it's got a freewheeling and a reverse and forward. And you do that with this mechanism right here. And then this is the choke, of course, to start the thing for the engine. It has a single pedal right here. This is, you give it gas this way, and that releases the brake and then gives it gas to the engine. And then when you release it there, you'll see it later on when I show, it'll show that the brake applies when it's down. And you can actually push on the bottom and it'll apply the brake. Gary's, this said that this is the original I think this is the original seat pad. The back pad, one of these is original. Oh, I think the back is original. I think he must have replaced this. That'd be more likely. Anyway, that's in really nice shape. It's just a decent little cart, not too damaged anywhere. It has, and here has this mechanism that's part of the feature that for traveling down the road, you pull these pins out and then lock them out, and that's a wheel, free wheel, so you're not turning the drivetrain. Or you can put it in now, it's ready to turn the drivetrain. So also it has, here's a place, obviously, your golf clubs. I don't know where the stands are. He may have those, the towers, trees, whatever you would call them, for the, to tie your golf clubs on. Also has I assume this is factory, a little pipe here that you could put an umbrella in. And so you get a little sunshade, or rain shade, I guess. On the back, it has a place for a license plate, a tail light. I don't know if the brake light is, I don't think there's a brake light on it, but it has a tail light, has a bumper, which we'll be taking off because it'll make it easier to work on. And of course, here on the right side, the only damage, real serious damage, is right here. That'd be easy to fix with a little fiberglass repair. On this side, basically the same exact thing. It's got the disengagement for the hub on this side. You definitely want to disengage both of them because I don't know if it has a differential in it. It may have. It doesn't look big enough to have a differential, but it might have. I'm not saying it doesn't. So back around on this side, you'll basically see the exact same thing, obviously. You see a little better look, or at least maybe less reflection on the sticker. So it says reverse, neutral, forward. Yeah, it says pull plugs on back wheels. And then choke, start, out. And that's it. There's really not much to it. And it starts, and it's a good running. Obviously, Wisconsin made a heck of a good product, and they made tens of thousands of those engines. So anyway, with that, I'm going to stop this section of the video, and then we'll go to, I'm going to have it raised. Well, next time you see it, I'll have it raised up in the air, and then I'll have the back, which there's a hinge right here across the front of the seat here, and it'll pivot clear up, and it'll be almost be vertical. This whole back end will be vertical, and then we'll be able to see all the mechanicals of it. So there's the cart, and you'll see, here's the gas tank, and I have several things that I've already had this apart, already had this, not an engine apart, but you can see the point covers down in there, that's removed. Move this out of the way. You can see that's removed already because I got it running. It turned out that it was a bad set of points and it needs a new plug wire. And I did clean the carburetor, which really wasn't too bad. And I actually have you can see the motor sitting loose. And I don't have the choke cable on it. But anyway, I had to put points in it, took the whole cover off it, which we'll do that here in a little bit, and just to show you how it does, or how it works. And put new points, plugs, and point, spark plug. I didn't replace the coil. Coils are extremely rare. And the coil looked really good, and it turned out that it was actually okay. So the gas tank is over here. It's just loosely mounted now, and it was loosely mounted before. Just because that's the way whoever worked on it before Gary bought it, they've lost one of the U clamps, and the tank is rubbed a lot. It actually has, it's over here, and it's right back here. You'll see it, probably later I'll show it to you. The tank is actually rubbed a hole. It seeps very lightly. I'm gonna probably try some JB Weld on that, we'll see. I've never done that before. Otherwise, a guy could braze it, but that's gonna be kind of involved too. And then you'll probably chase it because it's gonna be paper thin. So anyhow, there's Wisconsin. I'll show you the Wisconsin nameplate. Right there. It has a generator built into it, and you can see, I don't know if this stuff is kind of factory or not, but you can see just a big nut spacer. I mean, it works, but you can see the welds on it are all just very crude. That is factory, I'm sure. And there's welds everywhere that are just, and like this, they welded this plate on here, and you can see they just kind of welded and then pushed this over together and then welded it right there, which is fine. And I'm not saying it works, but it's definitely not a high level construction. We'll walk gently around this side, and you can see the bumper here located, and it does have a spring suspension. It has coil springs. There they are, right there. They give a little bit. And how it works is it's mounted on rubber pads. There's rubber pads here, and then there's a rubber pad here. And so this bar, it's a piece of angle iron, just basically plain angle iron. It is just bolted to these rubber pads, so the rubber pads can give a little bit, and then of course they give enough that then these springs can give, and it does have a little bit of cushion, so it rides actually pretty good. You can see how they were just using whatever was available. This U-clamp is an exhaust clamp, and you can see that they've taken this clamp, and you can see probably see the other part there. They actually cut that in half and used it. You know, it works, and it works well. It just shows that they weren't going to spend a lot of extra money. They just used what was available, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. To the drive axle, the rear drive mechanism, which is very high quality. It's a HAXCO. I don't know if you can read that. It's 84201-A5, and then that's a model, and the serial number is D2092. I know nothing about that other than it looks really good, and it works really good. It just drives like a dream. That's just a really good rear suspension or rear drive system, and then here's the CVT system. It's just like you would see like a Comet brand, and as you rev the engine up, this pulley inside here will get smaller, and then this one out here will get it'll squeeze out. This will get bigger actually, because it'll squeeze out and they'll make this pulley bigger, and this one will squeeze out and make this pulley smaller and make it go faster. And then when it's released, it's in it. Of course, the engine's not tight. You can see I don't have it bolted down because I didn't want to do that on camera. I figured that's just waste time. So anyhow, a very good system, and I've never touched it. It's obviously got a relatively new battery. It's 12-volt system. It's got a little relay here that drives the starter generator, and I don't know who makes the starter generator, but I think you could buy Wisconsin engines with a starter generator. I think that's a factory thing. I don't know about this business, and maybe somebody lost the thing. I'm pretty sure you could buy them, but I would assume Wisconsin would never send it with a big nut for a spacer. But anyway, that's basically what you're seeing. And I'm going to continue the video here. And if in the comments, if anybody has any more questions, then they certainly can let me know, and I can try to answer them. Here's the stud right here, where they mount the folding bracket, and it hooks up to this part right here. So then you could theoretically hold the body up at about a 45-degree angle. But I wouldn't trust that thing. And then it's still it doesn't give you much room. When you flip it all the way up, then you can clearly put gasoline in it real easily. So that's what I'd recommend. Oh, I guess I forgot to mention the brakes. I walked right by that, which I've redone the brakes, and I'd probably will explain that a little better as we go along. But this rod is the throttle. So here's the throttle, which is, I don't know how they're supposed to do it, and I redid this to make it work. But anyway, this is the throttle. When you give this rod gas, it pushes towards the rear of the vehicle, and it moves this arm, which in turn moves the throttle on the carburetor, and it also releases the brake. You can see there's a pin here, and there's another pin on the opposite side, and this is a big wave washer, and so when you push this, it releases that brake. Extremely crude. This isn't. The system, this HEXCO drive, great. Got a disc, got two pads. You can see there's a white puck down in here. I actually made that. The one that was in it was broken. There's another black one on the other side. I think they're just plastic, or at least the one that felt hard plastic, maybe a Bakelite plastic. And I debated on what to put in, and I thought, well, it doesn't get worked very hard. So I had a piece of hard white plastic. I threw it in the lathe, turned it down, and made it fit, and then cleaned these pins all up, and the brakes actually work now. And I can show you later how they work. But anyway, so you can see the mechanism, how it releases, and then the people who built this, I think, welded it, but then they just welded a piece of angle iron on there, and then they drilled a hole in it, and it works. And then they drilled a hole in the axle right here, and then I put this new spring, the old spring they had on there was no good. And then they made this kind of semi-stop. I had to rebend that to make it so it would work, so it doesn't get pulled back too far, and then brake on the backside. So when you give it gas, when you push the gas pedal, then you're doing this. If you push on the brake, then you're pushing it that way. So that's kind of how the brake system works. This disc is just a floating disc. Get my camera in there so you can see. This disc is just a floating disc. It's got a keyway. There's a Woodruff key in there, and this disc just floats on that shaft. And it works really good. I just took a wire brush and cleaned it up. It's far from perfect, but it's fine. It'll run forever. So I put a few oil in this rear axle. There's a dipstick right here. It's tight now, I can't get it out. But anyway, I checked, it wasn't very low. I put a little bit more in it and filled it up what I thought it should be. And then it leaked out maybe 10, 15 drops. And now since that time, it hasn't leaked a bit. So here's the control mechanism that goes from, I don't know which way is which, low or forward and then neutral and then reverse. I don't know which way is which, doesn't matter. But anyway, whoever built this, they knew what they were doing. So anyway, I'm going to pause out now. This Wisconsin engine is a, what was it again? Oh yeah, it's an S8D. And there really wasn't anything specific to that. And it's different than an S7D. I found that out because we had a book for an S7D and it was not, the carburetor is the exact same, but the ignition system is quite a bit different. Well, it is quite a bit different. So anyhow, I bought the right book and we could set that up. The points and everything kind of set to the same specs, but they're different points. Everything's different on the 8D compared to the 7D. So anyway, I'm going to pause here. I'll get this thing lifted up and we'll get you back on the camera here. And let's see, I think I'll take this bracket off for the throttle. You'll be able to understand how this throttle works a little bit better once I take this one bolt that holds this whole kind of mechanism. All right, because I don't want to bend any of that stuff. This throttle mechanism is kind of fragile. Put that in there, and you see this little bracket comes off. Right. Okay, so then this just comes off, and we'll just pivot that off there, and here's the mechanism. That's how it works. I really probably should take this off, and I might do that when I go back together. And this doesn't have a washer on the bottom. It has a washer on the top, and so you can see it's kind of rubbing on that cotter pin. It probably lasts forever, but it could potentially bind up, so I'll probably put a washer on that, make it go around the corner. But anyway, that's the throttle mechanism. I'm sure somebody that's a VIBO expert is going to tell me, man, this is, what you're doing is not right. There's a system, and I don't know what that system is. I wish I did. But actually, it's not bad. And you can see right there, see how it's tying itself to it? And it doesn't have much tension on it, but it has the right amount of tension, and it can give. So that's wide open, and I think that's going to work. Let's open that up just a smidge. Ah, there we go. There we go. Okay, like that. And then back here, there it is. Okay, so now you can see how it actually works pretty good. Maybe we'll go a little wide angle here, a little wider angle. Put me in there, and we'll see if she'll start. You have to start it by reaching up there and hitting the start button. I'll do that. Here we go. There she is. Like I said, I don't know if you can hear me, but pops and runs really, really well. That sounds better. All right. That's pretty much it. I assume you can probably hear me now, but everything looks good. I'll stir it around. One last look. Everything's working. And we'll pause it here. And I'm going to go ahead and put it together, and I'll put it on the ground. There she is. She's coming down. Oh yeah, it's not going to rub. Yeah, well, it just does touch. I can just hear it. Well, I think that does it. The old VIBO is all done. And it's ready to cruise on the highways, on the golf course, wherever you want to look cool. I want to thank everybody that's watched this video clear to the end. Hopefully I gave some good advice. There could be a few errors in there, I'm sure. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but I did my best, and it seems to be, at least it seemed to have turned out okay. So anyway, take care, and until next time, this is Mike. See you later.